This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and today on Newsload, we are interviewing Rai Madge. Hello, Rai.
Hi, Carrie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm honored to have you. I'm so excited to be able to chat with you and learn about you.
My gosh, I've never had that before. Thank you so much. That's amazing, McNugget.
McNugget looks adorable. That's your cat?
Yes, yes. And I think if I can see in my peripheral, it looks like he's eating my projector.
Nice. It looks like he's cleaning his claws, getting ready for whatever trouble he's getting ready to get into next.
It's good. It's that mom brain I have, I guess.
So how long have you been in comedy?
Since 2016, actually. Yes. Yes.
And have you run into any celebrities that you were left starstruck?
Well, we worked with John Doer, and John Doer is one of my favorite comics ever. So, yeah, so I think I was more nervous than he was. Oh, obviously he wasn't nervous, because who am I? Just nobody from KW. But yeah, I met him and I worked with him, and he is an absolute gem to work with. Tom Green's really awesome. A lot of the trailer park people trailer park boys, actors and actresses, they're awesome too. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever experienced a snotty person ever that actually has Canadian American level fame.
Oh, that's really, really good. John Doer, did you talk anything specific with him?
Well, not really. I actually lined up a couple of interviews for the media for him. And we just had the show, and I just made sure that whatever was stipulated in the contract was there. Yeah, I think, like I said, we were more nervous than he was, right? Because it was like the first time, you had somebody that's taking a chance on you. And that was because of Tyler Morrison. I don't know if you know him, but he's a good friend of ours. So he actually was working with him, and then he called Tom O'Donnell, which is the other half of Blackball, who I work with. And he was like, yeah, we can work with John Doer. And then Tom called, and I was like, don't lie to me. I was like, no way. And this is literally, I think, 2 weeks before the lockdown, So, we saw all these social media followers go up and stuff, and then the whole world shut down, right?
And what did you do during lockdown?
Nothing. Honestly, I did nothing. It was probably the first time in 4 years of not producing and not be working on projects, because I also work on festivals and tours and promotional stuff. So yeah, that was I wasn't even working. I think I literally laid in bed and scrolled on my phone and played games the entire time. And I was stressed out because I was looking for a job because I lost my job right away, right? So I was working in the service industry, and I was also working in a financial company, and they basically laid everybody off. So I was kind of freaking out, trying to figure out how long is this gonna, and I honestly thought it would be like, oh, we're just gonna lock down for 3 weeks and then we'll be back to normal, right? But yeah, so that wasn't the best thing ever. And that ended up being 2 years of our lives.
Yeah. But I've discovered wonderful things because of the lockdown, being able to work from home more.
Yeah. Yes.
I really appreciate Uber Eats.
Right. Yeah. To be honest, I didn't hate it, because it was like I had a time to kind of unwind and not have people in your DMs asking you for spots, which is not a big deal. It goes with the program, right? But yeah, it was nice to just kind of sit back and be like, well, I don't really have anything on the go, so I can just go for a walk and I can just have whatever I want for dinner. Like our big days out were the grocery store.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
having a nap in the afternoon,
yeah,
amazing.
having nothing. Like, I remember there'd be like times where I would just need to go to the grocery store, because I swear I probably went to the grocery store probably like every day, because I was just kind of stir crazy that way. But I remember in the summer it would be like I'd be just like sitting around showering at like 6 o'clock at night, maybe putting makeup on, going to the grocery store, and then watching TV. Oh yeah, I'm watching TV. So I actually don't ever watch TV. I never have time between everything I'm working on. So it was like I actually got to stop and watch Sopranos to the end, watch Game of Thrones. So I watched all these amazing TV shows that everybody raves about, and that was
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really remember a lot of that chunk of time.
I bought the DVD series of Xena. I bought the
Nice.
DVD series of Golden Girls. I got like old school into my chick TV shows.
Amazing. I love the Golden Girls. Actually, if you wanted, if I was allowed to leave this for a moment, I have a mask left over from COVID with the Golden Girls on it. I
Oh,
should give it to you.
amazing.
I should wash it and send it to you.
Oh my God, I totally want it.
It
Is it
has all four of
Blanche
them on
or
it.
is it Rose?
No, it's all of them.
It's all the girls.
It's all of them. Yeah. You know what? Like, if you like, I mean, if you want me to get up and grab it, I know where it is. But if not, like, I'll send you a photo of it. But yeah, I should send it to you. I'll wash it and send it to you.
I want it. I do want
It's
it.
the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I bought it off of my girlfriend that was making them. So yeah, and for $10. So I mean, you know what? If you love the Golden Girls, I love Golden Girls. You deserve this.
Oh, thank
Yeah, I'll
you.
mail it to you. No problem.
Amazing. Where were you born?
Ontario. I was born in Oakville, and I was raised in Mississauga and Streetsville. And then we bought a house outside of Walkerton. My parents bought a house outside of Walkerton. So I grew up kind of like, where Letterkenny makes fun of everybody. That's where I grew up. I grew up outside of Walkerton. I went to high school in Walkerton too. Yeah,
Amazing, amazing.
yeah.
So all those Letterkenny jokes, you're probably just like right there, eh?
Oh, they're so funny. It's just like, no, that is small town. That's 100% what it's like living in a small town. Everybody's related to everybody. They all know each other's business. You know, they
Yep.
run around. We don't cow tip, unfortunately. Whoever started the cow tip thing, I've never seen a cow tip, and they don't sleep standing up. Well, they might like sleep standing up, but I doubt it. I lived around cows my entire life and on a farm, so they usually sleep lying down.
Yeah, yeah, they lie
Fun
down.
fact.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
everybody's really nice to each other usually. Very respectful because like if they are gonna see you again next week, it's out of respect. It's out of like fuck around and find out situation. If you're disrespectful, people are gonna know about it, kind of thing. So um,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the small town lifestyle. Very very quiet, very safe.
Mhm.
Um, being
Mhm.
able to ride your bike at 10 at night and not being a problem when you're 10 years old. Like you
Right.
can't do that in the big cities.
No, no, you can't. No. But I mean, I remember I lived there. I liked living there. I was very close to the beach. And again, yeah, it is very safe. It's like I don't think my parents started locking their doors until about the last like 6 years, which is wild to me. I live in a city and I live very close to the uptown of it. I would never, I won't even leave my car unlocked if I'm walking in my building for a moment.
Yep.
Like, it's wild. And I'm just like, it's so, and then when I go there, I'm just like, yeah, I don't, well, when I go there, I think people just think I'm doing a lot more than I actually am doing. So, I mean, they're always like, oh, what's going on? Like, we know, we see what you've been doing. And it's like, well, it's really not that important. If it was that great, I would probably be living, I'd be living in a mansion by now, guys. So,
Yeah.
right.
Do you
So it's not
find
really that big of a deal.
yeah,
Sorry.
do you find producing shows more difficult or performing in them?
Oh, performing for sure. So I actually have I like public speaking, but actually sitting up there and doing the material that I've written, I'm not comfortable with it. But when I get off of it and it's good, then you get that high off of it. But yeah, producing shows, I've worked on major festivals like Kitchener Blues Fest, Summer Lights Fest. I'm just trying to think of the one we have uptown. I'm so sorry. Lumen, I've worked on Lumen. And I've worked on major band tours too. So to me, That's nothing. You're behind the scenes, and I know enough people, if something goes wrong, I just get on Facebook and I'm like, hey, I need this. And it's like, it shows up, right? So yeah, producing is nothing. Promoting a show is nothing. Filling a room is getting a little bit harder, but it's usually nothing. It's more getting up there and just saying what you actually feel. And a lot of the times too, I think people don't understand is that the jokes that you're telling or the stories that you're telling, a lot of them are elaborated. They're, like a lot of it, you tweak it to make it sound funny, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it. I haven't actually been on stage, and I think the last time I was on stage was we did a roast of Tom O'Donnell, which is something that I wanted to do for years. And we had Rob Bebenick, and we had Tyler Morrison, and we had Dave McGinnis on it. And I wrote all my stuff for that. They were all offering to write my jokes for me, and I was like, no, like I'm gonna write my own jokes about my business partner, who I'm stuck in the trenches with all the time. And yeah, that was really one of the last times I was on stage. Would I like to get back out there? For sure, but I don't know. I don't like that feeling.
It's so hard. And the anxiety you have before and
Exactly.
the self-guessing,
Yeah.
your own self-criticism, the whole thing. I definitely find being I like to call it the dancing monkey is awful. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And I had this guy a couple weeks ago approach me going like, it's my dream to be a stand-up comedian. And my response
Oh.
is, why?
Right? It's like, no, just go to medical school.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Once you're really into it and you really see, I mean, to be fair too, I remember being a little farm kid sitting in front of TV, watching like Much Music, watching Ed the Sock. Also worked with Ed the Sock, love him. And watching Ed's Night Party and watching like Mike Bullard and all these comics. Ron Vaudreuil was one of them, and the late Mike McDonald. Watching them on the Just for Laughs festival, and just being like, oh my gosh, like they've really made it. And then when you're in Canadian comedy, you're just like, oh, like it's really hard to do things here.
Oh yeah.
Which we need to stop. You know what I mean? Like we need to advocate for this. And I'm always like a huge advocate for our Canadian comics. But like Ryan Long is in, New York. And where's Che? Che's touring, JJ's touring, they're all touring the US and they're doing really well. But we should be able to make our comics. Oh, and Tyler too. Tyler's doing really well. But we should be able to make our comics actually take off and to actually support themselves,
So what do you think are the deterrents? I think obviously from January to March, it's shitty to drive in.
Yeah, I think since the pandemic, I think we've seen a lot of rooms kind of, and there's my cat. And he's sorry. I can hear him. He's like scratching at the window. I'm like, I'll kill you. Yeah, we've seen I think that a lot of people are starting rooms. And yeah, by all means, start your own room for an open mic, but you need to have a proper venue in order to charge $30-$40 for, for a ticket. And you have to pay. If you want big names, you got to pay them. And you're going to take a loss. Like you're going to, like you and I both know that you're going to take a loss sometimes. McNugget. Yeah. So, and doing it properly too. I'm not saying I do it properly. But I think I have a pretty good reputation in the business. I pay people. I don't think I'm ever really difficult to work with. I might have been before, but I don't think so. Right. But I like things done and I like things done properly. And yeah, like again, it's you have to have the right room, you have to have the right people too that are serving. Like, you want to make money, you got to be out there selling drinks, but you also can't be interrupting the comic when they're on stage doing their thing, right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Very fine line, right?
Yeah, and promotion, getting the word out there, parking is important.
Oh, for sure. for sure.
Just all of these production little things that,
Yeah.
people don't talk about, but it's so important. Sponsors, making sure the sponsors are happy.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That what else? I mean, you should have a social media presence at some point, and then but you also can have too much of a presence, where and I think it all goes for where you're learning stuff too, right? It's like it was fun. Like when I first started, like I was like no one knew who I was anyways, right? And maybe they don't anymore, like maybe they don't anyways, but no one knew who I was. So it was like I would go and I would just kind of like get involved in these little stupid fights and just be like, oh yeah, and like shoot a one-liner. But now it's like, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that because, this sponsor that's going to give us like X amount of dollars, or the radio sponsor, or the people I'm aligning with in my personal life, they don't want to be like, oh yeah, Rai Madge goes online and fights with everybody, right? So it's a very fine line with that too. So it's like, and then commenting on things too, like, what's going on in Hamas, like just don't say anything. You know what I mean? Don't say anything. Just try to support things. Try to keep your personal opinions to your friends or your family or people that you trust, and kind of leave that stuff off there. Don't air it all out,
Yeah, I think Susan Sarandon just lost her agent because
Yeah.
she was against the Jews.
Yeah, and Michael, like I've been watching Michael Rappaport's his Instagram lives and stuff and his TikToks. And I believe he's Jewish, so he's very, pro Israel, and that's fine. And you know what? Good for you. At least he's doing it properly, right? So I'm watching him and he's doing it respectfully.
Which is impressive for Michael Rappaport, who's Mr., ranting and raving. And yeah, he's perfectly capable of being offensive, but he's being respectful, which is impressive.
Yeah, honestly, check it out if you want to. Because of that, that is because of watching him on, I think it was Instagram, and it was on Friday afternoon. I was off. I've been on vacation for a couple of days, and I started watching it, and I was like, I don't really know what's going on. So from there, I actually went to TikTok and I researched on kind of what's going on, and I was like, oh, now I'm like, I feel like people really shouldn't be commenting on this because it's like no matter what side you're on, it's like everybody's fighting for the same thing. Well, they did this, they did that. So it's like, you know what? Just wish people well. You know what I mean? Wish people well. War is terrible.
Yeah, I just don't like hearing that women and children are dying. I don't like to hear, this terrible stuff. And I really hate to think of, all the issues in the Ukraine. I
As a Ukrainian woman,
resolved. I want people to be safe. I want people to be, able to, if they want to move and immigrate to a new country, I want them to behave themselves. Don't hurt the citizens. Don't jump into somebody else's culture and force your culture onto them. I don't know. It's all very. But this is me being a neutral and safe, party in Canada, where, my biggest concern again is parking. I
groceries, paying for groceries,
yeah.
rent. What happens if I get kicked out of my apartment? Well, I'm not going to be able to afford another one. So trying times for everybody, right?
Yeah, but I hear we're getting dental coverage soon.
Literally before this Zoom interview, I actually saw it on Jugmeet's Instagram, and I was like, "Well, good for you." I think it's a step in the right direction.
Because there's no argument that your teeth are a part of your body, and the hundreds of dollars that you have to spend if you're uninsured is real. But back to your comedy career.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, my comedy career.
What do you think of cancel culture and what it's doing to the comedy industry?
Yeah, so I think that's a real problem. And I think that you should be able to say what you want, but you also should understand that whatever becomes your repercussion, you need to learn from that. So I've always been a person, like I read things and I'm just like, oh my gosh, why are you guys saying this? But it's like, I'm not here to police what you're saying. And it's comedy. So if you feel this way, you should be entitled to say it, you know. I've also seen people pile on other people and cancel people, and we've seen some suicide out of that. So that, you know, that needs to stop. Like, the bullying needs to stop. And we've been involved in a scandal too. We had a comedian, if you want me to speak about it. Here's the dirt. We had a comedian during COVID that I guess was cheating on an app, and the person he was talking to was like a creep finder person. So they went and they changed, which is so weird, because I'm just like, I don't understand why, like, you're a guy, you should have figured this out. The person was like, oh, I'm 25, oh, I'm 18, oh, I'm 16, oh, I'm 13, and then got caught, went and met this person who was a creep finder, which is a great story. This creep finder actually just got charged because that person's just gone around setting people up, disabled people and stuff, and trying to extort money from them. So this particular comic was an up-and-coming comic in Kitchener, and we worked with him a lot. And every other show in Kitchener was also working with him. But we managed to get the backlash off of that. So I stopped it, and it's like, I stopped it ASAP. Basically, I just reached out to my friends in radio, and I'm like, what do I do with this? You know, I have all these people that are like unfriending me and telling me what I should be doing. So when it comes down to a scandal, it's like, you need to know you should know what's best for you. You know what I mean? Like, all these people that I didn't even know, like people in different provinces that were like, well, this is how I would have handled it. It's like, well, you're okay, fine. Like, the chances of us ever crossing paths are never going to happen. So I reached out. I said, how do I do this? They're like, they said, acknowledge it, put out a PR statement. So I wrote a PR statement. I was like, yeah, I don't condone what he's done, obviously. But like, that's not the precedence of our show. And again, comedy, free speech, you know what I mean? Free speech. Say what you want, but again, you know, so again, but just face your repercussions. But yeah, that was, you know, it sucked. Yeah, wasn't a good time, but fine.
No, it must be very stressful to be associated. And he was considered a creep because it was supposed to be a 13-year-old that they were.
Yeah, and they caught him on camera. And the weird thing is that, you know, this happened years before, which I was like, why would you go out and do comedy when this has happened to you? Like, he managed to, and the thing is he worked in security. He worked for Google. And it was like, they found it online. He was under a fake name. He gave them a fake name, and he had done all these things. And then you're going down to Toronto, and you're doing shows there, and you're jumping on and we were booking him. Like, he was funny, you know. We didn't know about this though. So it's like, but we're the problem because we didn't know about it. And then people were messaging me, and not Tom, which is weird. So it's like, you're coming after a woman on top of that. Like, I will never back down from that. You know, you might come in my DMs all you want, but you're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do, or who can be on my show or who couldn't be on my show. You know what I mean? But they weren't attacking Tom. And these were women in our business, right? So, you know, I didn't do enough. And it's like, well, I wasn't put on this planet to do anything for you, honey.
Well, the reality is, you know, like, we could have booked Jeffrey Dahmer and not known about it because, you know, like,
exactly.
they keep their secret life secret for a reason, for us not to know about it. And, you know, us getting, you know, the backlash for booking a comic that is a creep is it's not your fault at the fact. But, you know, the repercussions of no longer booking them, you know, is all you can do. And, you know, like, they're not going to say, like, while they're drinking with you or hanging out with you, like, hey, I love 13-year-olds. They're so fresh. They got that sun-kissed freshness about them. Like, oh my gosh. Okay.
Right. Yeah. You gotta get them before the hair does, apparently. Right. Exactly. So
I have to admit, I wouldn't even know what to say to a 13-year-old. They talk a completely different language nowadays. I'm like, I don't understand the slang or anything.
No, exactly. And I mean, I'm old enough, I could have a 13-year-old, but I think that's disgusting. Like, I just think what he did to begin with was disgusting. But we also have people that we work with, we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. So,
Absolutely.
right. But the thing is that when you do find something and you find out that it's matter of fact, cool, cut your ties. Like, you can delete people, whatever. You can ice them out, whatever you need to do, but just like get up, quietly leave, just be like, tiptoe out, right?
And it's a shame that, there's definitely a lot of stone throwers that are like, how dare you have booked them? And it's like, well, how am I supposed to know?
Right. Oh, this is what I would have done. Okay, well, thank you. Well, you didn't do it my way. Okay, well, again, like, I just kind of was like, okay, we're done here. Boundaries. We're done here, right? Yeah, I find the men, I find the men a lot easier to deal with than females sometimes. Sometimes there's some really great women out there, and we need to be empowering each other and stuff, but it's really hard when you're just trying to pile on and bully on other people. But
yeah, bullies can come in all shapes and sizes and sexes, unfortunately, and just learning how to respond to them properly. Well, Ray, you're an absolutely adorable delight. I can't get enough of those baby blues. You're such a cutie pie.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you. Thank you.
If you could just say one more thing before I let you go, if you could say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload.
Oh, I love Newsload.
Thank you.
I'm number one stan. Carrie, you're a gem. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. And I can't wait to go down to K-Dub and check out a show.
Anytime. I will throw you free tickets. I'll throw you free tickets. You're on a guest list. You just let me know. You come down anytime. You can hang out. You got a place to stay with me anytime.
Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you so much for having me. Okay, bye, honey. Take care.
Bye.
This is the Newsload.